What time is it? Good afternoon. I am pleased and honored to welcome Premier Li Keqiang of the State Council of the People's Republic of China here at the home of the Filipino people, the so-called Malacañan Palace. Premier Li's visit is a momentous occasion for the Philippines as it marks the first visit of a Chinese premier to Manila in 10 years. This shows the great strides that we have accomplished in the bilateral relations between our two countries since I assumed.
各位下午好，今天我非常高兴和荣幸欢迎中华人民共和国国务院总理李克强到访菲律宾，来到总统府。总理先生，您对菲律宾的这次访问具有极其重要的意义。这是中国国务院总理时隔10年再次对菲律宾进行正式访问，这充分展现了自我去年就任以来两国关系所取得的巨大进展。
I am pleased to note the positive turnaround and vigorous momentum of Philippines-China relations. Mutual trust and confidence building have led to increased interaction on many levels of our two governments. Practical cooperation in many areas is bringing in an early harvest of tangible benefits. Altogether, these concerted efforts of the Philippines and China have secured peace, stability, and development in the region. I am very much eager to sit down and discuss with Premier Li how we can further advance Philippines-China relations through functional cooperation in key areas such as trade, agriculture, and education, science and technology, and people-to-people exchanges.
我对菲中两国关系的积极转圜和积极势头感到非常鼓舞，两国之间的相互信任，进一步提升了我们两国政府在各个层次的交往与合作。我们在各领域的务实合作已经实现了一些早期收获的成果。通过双方的共同努力，我们也为本地区的和平、稳定与发展做出了贡献。我非常期待继续与李总理深入交换意见，共同探讨如何进一步推动我们两国在诸如贸易、农业、教育、科技、人文交流等众多重要领域的合作。
We will also discuss shared interests and mutual concerns on defense, security, maritime cooperation, law enforcement, transnational crimes, as well as cooperation on how our two countries can confront the drug menace that harms both shores. Premier Li's visit also allows me the opportunity to personally extend my gratitude to the Chinese government for its valuable support of the ASEAN chairmanship of the Philippines this year, and its assistance to our country's build infrastructure initiatives. It's looking for the welfare of the people who live and work in China, its benevolent assistance in providing military equipment to the AFP, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and its aid to the rehabilitation and reconstruction of Marawi City.
在此访期间，我也会与李总理就共同关心的包括防务、安全、 海上合作、执法、跨国犯罪以及打击贩毒等共同关心的话题充分交换意见。这次访问也给我一个机会，对中国政府表达我个人的谢意，感谢中国政府在菲律宾担任东盟轮值主席国期间给予我们的宝贵支持。另外，我也要借此机会感谢中国政府支持菲律宾提出的在菲律宾大建特建基础设施的国家规划，这是符合菲律宾人民利益的一个国家规划。我也要感谢中方在菲律宾马拉维战事以及战后重建和民生改善方面给我们提供的军需物资和其他方面的支持。
With pragmatism, mutual respect, sincerity, equality, and shared benefit, the friendly relations between our two countries will forge ahead, determined to secure a prosperous future for both our peoples. Thank you.
中非两国关系务实、相互尊重、平等、互利共赢。我相信，在这一基础上，我们的友好合作关系会不断向前迈进，会为两国人民带来更加繁荣的未来。谢谢。
Thank you. 尊敬的杜特尔特总统、记者朋友们，很高兴应杜特尔特总统的邀请，对菲律宾进行正式访问，并同记者朋友们见面。现在北半球已经进入了冬季，但马尼拉的气温还很高，这恰恰像当前的中非关系，我们的关系正在改善的基础上升温。我们希望巩固这种向好的势头，把失去的一些时间找回来。
The Honorable President Rodrigo Duterte, members of the press, good afternoon. I am very happy to pay an official visit to the Republic of the Philippines at the invitation of His Excellency the President. And I'm also happy to have today's opportunity to meet you, friends from the press. Winter has come to Northern Hemisphere, but the temperature in Manila is still running pretty high. I think that somewhat reflects the temperature of China-Philippine relations, which is also going pretty high on the basis of the positive improvement of the relations between the two countries. We hope that we will continue to work together to strengthen this positive momentum and work together to make up for the time that we may have lost.
去年，杜特尔特总统访华可以说是中非关系之间的一次破冰之旅。我此次和我的同事们访菲，是我担任总理以后首次访问菲律宾。我们为延续友谊而来。中非两国是近邻，我们有着绵延不断的友好关系，我们之间友好交往的传说可以说数不胜数。虽然我们之间有过风雨波折，但是中非两国人民希望两个关系持续向好，赢得共同美好的未来的心从来没有改变。
Mr. President, you paid a successful visit to China last year. That was an ice-breaking trip in the relations between our two countries. This time I have come to the Philippines. It is indeed my first visit to the Republic of the Philippines as Chinese Premier. I have come to carry forward our traditional friendship. We are close neighbors, and we enjoy a long-standing friendship between our two countries. There have been much told stories of friendship between our peoples. I believe in spite of some ups and downs in the relations between the two countries, the aspiration shared by the two peoples for taking our friendship forward and embracing an even brighter future for themselves has never changed.
中非两国都是发展中国家，我们共同担负着发展经济、改善民生的重任。今年以来，我们高兴地看到中非的务实合作大踏步的前进。前10个月，中国已经成为菲律宾最大的贸易伙伴。我们从菲律宾进口的热带水果已经达到13000批次。中非之间新增的航线也达到14条，预计今年会有100万人次的中国人到菲律宾来旅游，而且我们在基础设施、在农业、旅游、减贫领域的务实合作正在持续的、蓬勃的向前发展。
Both China and the Philippines are developing countries. The governments of both countries face the daunting task of growing the economies and improving people's lives. Since the beginning of this year, we have been heartened by the boom in the practical cooperation between our two countries. After the first 10 months of this year, China has become the Philippines' top trading partner, and China has imported some 13,000 batches of tropical fruits from the Philippines, and 14 new flights have been opened between the two countries. We are expecting that the Chinese tourists will make some 1 million trips to the Philippines by the end of this year. The practical cooperation between us in such areas as infrastructure, agriculture, and poverty alleviation has also been going strong.
我们高度赞赏菲律宾提出的菲律宾雄心2040发展战略，而且愿意参与菲律宾的大规模的基础设施建设。刚才我和杜特尔特总统已经就此进行了深入的磋商。我建议为对接2040战略，中非双方可以在这个领域讨论签署至少5到10年的合作规划，使中非在这些领域的合作持续的向前发展，也向中非两国人民、向国际社会发出明确的信号：中非关系一定会是稳定向前发展的，中非人民的心心相通是不可改变的。
We commend the Philippine government for the introduction of its own development strategy, that is Ambition Nating 2040, and we would be happy to enhance our cooperation with the Philippines in the infrastructure sector as well. Just now, the President and I have already exchanged views in great detail about how we can work with each other in those related areas. My suggestion is that our two sides may sit down together to discuss and formulate cooperation plans in these areas lasting for the next 5 or even to 10 years to take forward our cooperation in these specific fields, to send out a message to people of the two countries, as well as the international community, that China-Philippine relationship will continuously go forward, and the people-to-people friendship between us will be further strengthened.
我们还探讨了双方的防务、反恐等领域的合作。中方支持杜特尔特总统、菲律宾政府为维护国家安全稳定所做出的努力。中方将为马拉维战后重建和民生改善提供1.5亿元人民币的无偿援助，表示中国人民的心意，而且也相信在杜特尔特总统和贵国政府的领导下，马拉维人民一定能够早日重建家园，过上幸福的生活。
In my talks with Mr. President, we also talked about the cooperation between our two countries regarding defense affairs and counter-terrorism. The Chinese side supports the efforts made by Mr. President and the Philippine government in upholding the security and stability of your country. The Chinese government will provide 150 million RMB yuan of grants for the rebuilding and improvement of livelihood in Marawi to demonstrate the support of the Chinese people. We have full confidence that under your leadership, Mr. President, and the leadership of your government, the rebuilding of Marawi will be completed at a very early date, and the local people will embrace an even better life.
今年是东盟成立50周年，在中国和东盟的合作当中，中国和菲律宾的关系十分重要。中方坚定地支持菲方担任今年的东盟轮值国主席，而且也祝贺菲方成功地履行了主席国的职责。杜特尔特总统大概主持了10几场对话会，你本人的发言我估计要3到40次。现在你仍然精神抖擞地站在这里和中国的总理进行会谈，表明了你和你的同事们对发展中菲关系的热情，也表明在中国和东盟的合作当中，菲律宾将会继续发挥重要的建设性作用。
This year marks the golden jubilee of the founding of ASEAN. China-Philippine relationship is critical for the overall cooperation between China and ASEAN. China has firmly supported the Philippines in exercising its role as the rotating chair of ASEAN, and I also want to offer once again my sincere congratulations to the Philippine side for being so successful in fulfilling your responsibilities as the rotating chair. Mr. President, you must have chaired over several dozen meetings in the past few days and spoken 30 to 40 times at those summits, yet now you are still so energetic and in high spirits, having meetings with the Chinese Premier and your Chinese colleagues. I'm sure that fully shows how much passion you have for enhancing the Philippines' relations with China, and I have no doubt that the Philippines will play its important and constructive role in China-ASEAN cooperation.
众所周知的原因，一段时间以来，国际上的媒体对中菲的友谊是否能够巩固和持续有一些疑虑。现在是时候了，希望中菲两国的媒体相互多报道中菲合作的前景，多报道中菲两国人文相通的故事。也欢迎菲律宾的媒体多到中国去，使你们为中菲抓住新的机遇，掀开中菲关系新的一页，做出历史性的贡献。谢谢。
Due to well-known reasons, for some period of time, there were much doubts expressed by international media outlets as to whether the friendship between our two countries would be able to consolidate and even last. I believe now is the time. It is the time for us to tell our own stories. It is the time for the media from China and the Philippines to report more on the bright prospects of China-Philippine relations, on the much-told stories of friendship between our two peoples. We welcome more Philippine press to come to China to cover today's events and make your historic contributions to covering the stories about how our two countries are working together to seize the opportunity of the day and usher in a new chapter in China-Philippine relations.
China is open to the Philippine media and press.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Your Excellency, my first words would be welcome to the Philippines. This is about almost 10 years after on a visit of an official from China. We would like to express to you our gratitude for visiting us and making your promise to that you will come here to the Philippines for a visit. And not only that, it is highlighted by so many things that we will officially announce of the assistance, the trade agreements, and so many things that you have promised us to give. And I know that it will come to us in the days to come. We express our gratitude to President Xi Jinping and kindly extend to him my warm feelings, and including the Filipino people. We are gratified by the so many things you have done so far. You have proven to be a good friend of the Philippines, and we look forward to a more robust, more productive relations in the days to come. Mr. President, we cannot offer you anything, Mr. Prime Minister, at this time, because we are not really in parity as yours. But maybe in the years to come, the Filipinos will reciprocate what you have done for us. And let me also assure you that during the critical stage of the Marawi incident, where we needed help badly, it was China who responded immediately for our cry for help. And the arms that you gave us helped abbreviate, shorten the military fight there with the effective use of the weapons. And I am happy to report to you that one of the rifles that you gave us killed Hapilon, who was the leader or the emir that they named in the Philippines. So maybe I will look for the soldier who fired the fatal shot, and I'm going to return to you the rifle so that the Chinese people would know that it was critical. It's a symbol of the critical help, the crucial moment when we needed most, and there was nobody to help us at that time. As a matter of fact, the help came later, but in the first moments of the siege, and later on, not a bit late, but we were able to use it also, the arms of Russia came to our rescue. So once again, I would like to say that you have proven beyond doubt your words as a friend and as one who would be able to help the Philippines in the days to come. As I have said, at this time we cannot offer you anything because we are the ones needing help. But maybe in the future, Philippines would also show its debt of gratitude to China. And for all of the fundings of the public works, bridges and all, there is nothing more we can ask from your friendship. Those are my sentiments, Mr. Prime Minister, Your Excellency, and I'd like you to respond.
Thank you, President Duterte, for the invitation to me on this official visit to the Philippines. This is my first visit to the Philippines as the Prime Minister or Premier of China, and also the first visit by a Chinese Premier to your country in 10 years. I would like to sincerely thank you, Mr. President, and the Philippine government for the warm hospitality and a thoughtful arrangement accorded to me and my delegation. I'd also like to take this opportunity to forward the greetings of President Xi Jinping to you, Mr. President. I am visiting the Philippines this time first to attend the East Asia leaders' meetings. I want to thank President Duterte, as the chair of the East Asia leaders meeting, has successfully hosted the meetings, and all the meetings have been very successful. In particular, the China-ASEAN dialogue, China-ASEAN summit has been extremely successful. The Philippines has played a leadership role and a crucial role in ensuring the success of the East Asia leaders meetings. The Chinese side highly appreciates your efforts. And another important purpose of my visit is this official visit to the Philippines. China and the Philippines are neighbors. We have a long history of friendly exchanges. Now, China-Philippines cooperation is based on mutual support and a mutual benefit. We are now working together to strengthen the momentum of China-Philippines relations and try to make up for the time or the good opportunities we missed in the past. We are accelerating the implementation of the relevant cooperation projects, and that is something that requires the joint efforts of both sides. The Philippines, in terms of upholding national security, fighting terrorist crimes, has played a very important role. China and all the other members of the international community firmly support the fight against terrorism in all forms. Your victory against terrorism is the result of your own efforts. We highly appreciate the courage and wisdom demonstrated by the Philippine government in the fight against terrorism, and we also want to provide assistance to the post-war reconstruction in Malawi, and also the improvement of the livelihood of the people. We are ready to provide grant assistance to your country. Helping the Philippines is helping ourselves. Like you, Mr. President, said, China and the Philippines are close neighbors. Both China and the Philippines are countries with large population, and we are developing opportunities and big markets for each other. If we can work together, I believe it will bring benefits to the people of both countries and the regions as a whole.
Minister, Your Excellency, at this time the media is always told to leave the room.
President Rodrigo Duterte there meeting with Chinese Premier Li Keqiang in Malacañang. Now, President Duterte thanks China and looks forward to a stronger partnership with China. He did credit the country, the rifle donations from China as one of the reasons for the resolution of the Marawi siege last month. He tells the Chinese premier it was a Chinese rifle that killed one of the terrorists responsible for leading the ISIS Mauti group. Now, the Chinese premier responded by reminding the president that this is the first visit of a Chinese premier to the Philippines in 10 years, and China appreciates the role of the Philippines in the success of the ASEAN summit. He says they hope to accelerate efforts between China and the Philippines to, quote, catch up on missed opportunities in the past. They also pledged to help the country rebuild Marawi. As they say, what is beneficial for the Philippines will also be beneficial for China. And we are going to pause for a quick break.
This is News Night, where we go above and beyond the headlines. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Tonight on the program, after an incident that cost a commuter her arm, how are authorities making sure the Metro Rail transit is safe? Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau raised concerns about the drug war, but President Rodrigo Duterte is not having it. He's the president's personal aide, but when it comes to world leaders, Bongo proves he's the selfie king. The historical biopic General Luna was a blockbuster. Now we get our first look at actor Paolo Avellino as the young Gregorio del Pilar.
This program is presented by Bank of Commerce, an affiliate of San Miguel Corporation.
The woman who fell along the MRT tracks yesterday is in stable condition after an operation to reattach her right arm. A producer of CNN Philippines was on the scene when the accident happened. You're seeing the actual video of train emergency officers rushing the victim from the scene of the accident. As a consequence, MRT officials are considering improvements to train safety. Our AC Nichols has more.
The MRT Ayala station was temporarily shut down on Tuesday after 24-year-old Pasay resident Angeline Fernando fell on the tracks, getting her right arm severed as it got run over by the train. While officials say it was an accident, they are now eyeing measures to prevent such accidents.
Sir, pwede natin gawin dyan, pag-aralan namin yung platform screen door na ilagay doon.
Transportation officials have considered putting up a protective door along the platform following incidents of passengers jumping onto the tracks. In Fernando's case, Chavez says it didn't help that MRT Ayala station platforms are narrow.
When Fernando got off the train here at Ayala station, she supposedly walked to this direction, opposite that of the northbound train. Officials said she was visibly dizzy, walked wobbly on the platform, and fell onto the track right here. During rush hour, this platform is packed with passengers. Not much space to move around. Just to give you an idea, by distance, the posts here are just almost 2 meters away from the train or the edge of the platform.
Chavez says the government will shoulder all medical expenses for Fernando's recovery, using their 60 million a year insurance fund for MRT passengers. Officials said Fernando's arm was reattached at the Makati Medical Center. She remains under observation. Chavez also assures the public that MRT staff are trained to respond to emergency situations and provide first aid. Though he clarified that at the time of Fernando's accident, there were no staff present at the platform except for security guards.
Lahat ng platform ng LRT Line 1, ng Line 2, at ng MRT 3, wala talagang staff sa platform. Security guards. Ang pwede natin gawin, dagdagan yung security guards.
In a post on Facebook, the person who supposedly helped Fernando accused MRT personnel of not knowing how to respond to emergency situations. She said the guards took photos instead of helping the victim. Chavez came to the guards' defense and explained it is standard operating procedure to take photos when accidents happen for documentation purposes. AC Nichols, CNN Philippines.
The chair of the Senate Committee on Public Services says officials should focus on the overall safety of the MRT. Senator Grace Poe says the passengers continue to face what she calls structural and technical time bombs. These put doubt on the Transport Department's assurance that it is safe to ride the MRT. Poe says the government should work faster to fix the train system. Now, that recent MRT accident was one of many setbacks hounding Metro Manila's main train line. The government severed ties recently with the MRT's maintenance provider, Busan Universal Rail Incorporated, because of a misunderstanding over the terms of service, frequent technical problems, and malfunctioning trains. At the center of these setbacks are millions of MRT commuters who have to contend with delays in their trips almost every day. President Rodrigo Duterte has a strong message for Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who raised the drug war during their meeting. Mr. Trudeau said the president was receptive when he discussed his concerns over alleged extrajudicial killings. But the president, in a post-ASEAN summit briefing late last night, said he considered the remarks a, quote, personal and official insult. He's the president in his own words.
I said I will not explain. It is a personal and official insult. That is why you hear me throwing down epithets, curses, nagmumura, and everything. Because it angers me. When you are a foreigner, you do not know exactly what is happening in this country. You don't even investigate. You only show before the United Nations a record of how many persons died you claim to be extrajudicially. I said, I do not. I said, well, you can investigate. Find out. Look, guys, what I am really asking, and before, a lot, they were all there. I said, why don't you investigate first and find out the truth?
Security officials agree safety plans were carried out successfully during the ASEAN summit. Here's our correspondent Makoy Popioko with more.
Authorities say the recently concluded ASEAN summit was peaceful. They said all the security protocols were successfully carried out. We're here inside the Multi-Agency Coordination Center, the brains of all the security activities for the entire duration of the ASEAN summit. And there at the press briefing, security officials addressed a number of concerns. Among these, the cancellation of the ASEAN Music Fest last night. National Capital Region Police Chief Oscar Albayalde said this was necessary to secure public safety. Albayalde said the venue was too small for the 15,000 people who mobbed the concert. Ayala Triangle, a park in Makati's Central Business District, could only accommodate 6,000 people. The use of a long-range acoustic device to disperse anti-Trump protesters was also tackled, and the presence of some foreigners in the demonstrations.
Talagang very aggressive and violent yung crowd na yan. So our ground commander decided to use that LRAD to check or to prevent the protesters from breaking through the police line. Use of that long-range acoustic device is proper and it is legal.
Interior and Local Government Undersecretary Catalino Cuy said that they have identified some of the foreigners who joined the demonstrations. He said they have directed the immigration officials to track them and that sanctions await those who will be proven to have violated immigration laws. Makoy Popioko, CNN Philippines.
President Duterte hosts Chinese Premier Li Keqiang in Malacañang a day after the closing of the ASEAN summit. Our senior correspondent Ina Andalong joins us live from Malacañang. Ina, tell us about the Chinese Premier's official visit.
Well, Pia, this is the first visit of a Chinese premier to Manila or in Manila in 10 years. And President Duterte says this clearly reflects the great strides made by the relationship of the two countries since he took office. As you mentioned, President Duterte received Chinese Premier Li Keqiang in Malacañang earlier, just a day after the conclusion of the 31st ASEAN Summit, which the Premier also attended. The Chinese leader started his speech by comparing the hot weather here in Manila to the two countries' now warm relations. He pointed out that in the first 10 months of this year, China has already become the Philippines' top trading partner. 14 agreements were signed between the two countries. These include Chinese grants that will be used for the construction of drug treatment and rehabilitation centers in Mindanao, 2 bridge projects across the Pasig River, dam and irrigation projects. The Department of Finance yesterday said that China has committed $7.34 billion in soft loans and grants for the implementation of several infrastructure projects. In stressing its full support for the Philippines infrastructure program, Premier Li even suggested that officials of both countries sit down again to draft a 5 to 10 year cooperation plan for infrastructure. Now, to close his statement earlier, Premier Li congratulated President Duterte for the country's hosting of the ASEAN and said that it's about time to set aside doubts on this revived friendship between the Philippines and China. He also called on everyone to start sharing more positive stories about the relationship of the two countries. Yeah.
Ina Dolong reporting live from Malacañang. Catch our special On the Record here in CNN Philippines as we talk about the future of the Southeast Asian region after the 31st ASEAN Summit. Tune in here on CNN Philippines as we put newsmakers on the record. It's happening tomorrow night, Thursday at 7. Following his visit to Manila, U.S. President Donald Trump says ties with the Philippines are now even stronger. And Special Assistant to the President, Bongo, is at it again. The so-called national photo bomber takes selfies with leaders from all over the world. Details next here in Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. Welcome to Facebook Live here in CNN Philippines Newsnight. Let's do a little recap first. Late last night in a press conference, President Duterte, in that press conference post-ASEAN Summit, just after the closing ceremonies, President Duterte reacting